Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? How's it going? I see Zeal has already noticed that, yes, we have sub badges now. Also provided by Rayberry Draws, the same artist who did all of my my emotes, except for the Joker one. Futoki did that one. and the tier 3 emote, which I did. It was like a prototype, like, placeholder. But I still like it, so I just leave it there. But yes, now when you sub, you get a little crown, and it slowly gets into a more extravagant crown over time. Which I'm very excited about. I think it's very cool. It's and there's also my favorite part. My favorite part is the fact that the 1 month sub badge is a little jester cap, and the 2 month is a little paper, like, Burger King crown. Cause you know, you gotta earn the crown, right? And also you are a little bit of a clown if you subscribe to me, aren't you? I like how Selex is like, my crown, but also you can't see the crown because their badges are moderator, first, bit badge. All right, let me pop on over here to make sure we're capturing everything. Oh, what are we playing? Sneaking on stream? Oh, God. Oh, no. Not a chance. Soseki, you are very close. Someone gonna say something? I'm a little off center, aren't I? Hang on a minute. Let me scooch over a little. Scooch over a little bit. Algoma Bear, hey, welcome on in. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the hideout. You're in for a treat. The Ace Attorney streams, they always go off the rails. This is gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a good time. This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. It's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that has been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything. In my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. I always appreciate your help, Mr. Sato. Suffering Soseki, selfishly sidelined. Ah. Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning! Good morning, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Listen to you two chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here! Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding inner calm. It seemed wrong to disturb you. This man is a little ball of anxiety, and God, I love him. I was waiting! What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, I feel it. The sensation of, like, pouting in a corner, waiting for someone to come over to you and ask what's wrong. Oh, I feel it. I feel it in my bones. Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. I missed the signs, I'm afraid. Somehow. You'll have to forgive me. This man doesn't have calm in his vocabulary at all. Yeah, really. He's a writer, and he doesn't know any word for calm. No synonyms, nothing. Only the antonyms. I took a dictionary class once or twice. A baby. Shut up, Shia! Not a baby. Not a fucking baby. Fuck out of here. That was just an example! Oh, yes, there it is. Intercom. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandoned me and returned to our beautiful long-lost homeland. We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Yes, well, anyway. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I am determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. It's a very clear message, I think, that he's overslept again. The great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me.
Defendant, and your legal representative. The trial is about to begin. Make your way to the courtroom immediately.
Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. But I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Soseki-san's curse. Truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. All right. This should be it. This should be the final trial of the case. I'm expecting some wild turns here. Mabel, hello.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. Yes, the defense is ready.
Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by the lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed?
Absolutely. Justice will be done. You mark my words.
I feel obliged to say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. Oh, well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me. And please, be as ruthless as you like. Bottom. Bottom. Bottom! Thieves deserve to die, if you ask me. Wait. I gotta remember my Southern Belle accent. Well, I do declare. Thieves deserve to die. Thieves deserve to die, if you ask me. Hey, wait, that's fucking rude. Fuck you. Thieves? I'm a thief. Fuck you. I'll kick your ass. I'll shove that goddamn feather duster so far up your... Never mind. Especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all.
Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems.
Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. Now, Lord Van Zykes, what can you tell us? The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea.
So he does have the results. Look, Zeal, I had to rev up my my Southern Belle accent, all right? I was focused on that. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock, pray, allow me a moment to savor a liquid of a more sanguine hue. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. Here's to you, Inspector.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a depression on the top of it.
Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. Thank you for the hydrate, Mabel. Well, the brains at the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. No poison at all. In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear.
What a revelation!
That's good news for us, but how are they going to turn this into a bad thing? As I suspected. This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is blameless here. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. What? Yes, it's true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap on the window ledge. Thank you for the 1-bit select. Are we? Oh, okay, I see. Oh, you want a Van Zyk's Hora? All right, okay. All right, I see. Okay. All right. If it's a Hora you want, it is a Hora you shall receive. Hora. Oh my god. Hora. He says as he crushes the chalice in his hand. There you go. There's your Van Zyk's Hora. Oh Lord. Okay. You're very welcome. I'm glad you all enjoyed that. All right. Yes, it's true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap on the window ledge. But what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty?
My word! The water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel!
Why does the judge, like, flip-flop between being, like, somewhat astute and being just smooth-brained? Exactly. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shamspeare, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Oh my god. How are you gonna, like, fucking, like, push that the tea, like, we had a sample of the tea. How the hell are you gonna push that somehow, oh, well,
if we just had, like, a little sample of the tea, we could test it for poison.
It's like, oh, we found a sample of the tea.
Oh, well, there's no poison in it, but, that doesn't actually mean anything.
Fucking... Jesus Christ. Mr. Shamspeare. Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend.
Bailiff, show Mr. Shamspeare to the stand.
There he is. Mr. William Shamspeare, the victim of this despicable crime. O heaven, O hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shakespeare, did have a bellyful of the foul fluid given in mine innocence.
Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe.
By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company, yes.
One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shakespeare, did have a roomful of the sweet fuel given.
That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief. What is with all the goddamn, like, prejudice against thieves? I won't stand for this. This is ridiculous. I'm offended, frankly. Not a fan. Fuck you. I'll steal your goddamn top hat. Oh, I haven't forgotten. Kept all that ice. Kept all that about the ice coins a tidy secret, didn't you? You should have owned up sooner.
Arrest him, I say. Arrest him at once. Let him feel the sting in my tail.
I love her. I love Queen Bee. Queen Bee. Excellent.
Oh, indeed. By dint of vile and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure.
If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Clown court hours, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Clown court!
Cowards die many times before their deaths. And for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But would it that a still greater crime passeth unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther east than Verona did contrive to poison me.
Look at this man go! I have to. It's required. Hang on. I have to do this. I must. It must be done. Hang on. Hold on. Hang on.
Oh, hurrah! Berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. Berries and cream, berries and cream. Oh, I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream.
I love that. That's so much.
Objection.
But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shakespeare?
Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak.
Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea.
Look at this man's face. Look at him. Look at him going fucking. I hate him. I will drive him to the goddamn pavement.
The Japanese man did come to my chamber with a tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap.
Well, okay, I already know what the fucking, like, contradiction is. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience.
Right. Otherwise it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance.
Or, you know, you just princess bride them.
You know, you just take tiny doses of the poison, microdoses, until you're immune to the poison. And then you put the poison in both cups. And then you challenge a fucking, what was he? He was a Venetian? Or, yeah, Venetian. We challenge a Venetian to a matter of life and death. And we watch his own stupid brain overwork it, even though there's no correct answer. And he loses, no matter what. Zero-sum game. But no poison bottle was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. I knew that. By now, it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused's hands. Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamspeare, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause. I have naught to lose. Well, I do declare.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Did Van Zykes admit to poisoning people? I mean, he's a prosecutor. I'm sure he's worked on a number of cases involving poison. I'm sure this is nothing new to him. Okay. My cup alone. I used the tea that remained in his cup to make your coins of ice. Well, my friend, I have some bad news for him. Oh, you stupid, stupid man.
Objection.
That was too easy. There's no tea ring in the cup that Mr. Natsume used. There was no tea ever in that cup. You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question, and that you used the tea that was left in his cup to make your fake coins. But that's not possible. How? Chop logic? What is this, ye dark-clad fiend? The two teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof.
Incontrovertible?
What difference? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring. Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough.
Indeed. Such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while.
And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring.
Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean.
And prithee, sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted. Drink tea while it's hot. That's right. Yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well, after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, Mabel. I had to make you wait for it. I had to leave you in suspense for a minute there. In short, Mr. Shamspeare, you clearly lied to the court. Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
Oh, he's sipping. As a rule, I fill my hollow chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shakespeare. Yes, my liege. Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused's cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Eh? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Oh, you can't... Oh, come on. Van Zykes, you know that's bullshit. He said that so clearly. Would you really fuck up whether you were using the cup or the goddamn, like, tea kettle to pour the tea into the molds? I mean, it would be much more difficult to pour it from a cup than a goddamn teapot. Oh my god. And just telling him to lie in front of the jury. Yup. I'll just lie and say you forgot. It's simple. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest. And you've just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before. Are we supposed to believe that? People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us 2 things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that this spoiled cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that have bewitched this court.
The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts.
Furthermore, that testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words... the inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No. What does this mean, then? I do declare it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony. Apart from the bit about the thieving gas, obviously. My lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear... after I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery Alehouse that night, naught did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped as low as death.
And on what did you dine, sir?
Why, I did partake of my favorites. A broth as would be called soup, and a leaf as would be called salad. Man really went to Olive Garden for the unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. Christ. As insalubrious a menu as the establishment where it was served. Olive Garden! But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. While you're here, your family. Jet, hello, how's it going? This literally started with evidence to the contrary of what he was saying. Yeah, this is just all bullshit, man. Like, here's the thing. They cannot prove there was poison in the tea. They just can't fucking prove it. There is reasonable doubt here, but apparently in fucking, like, 1800s English court, it's, you know, guilty until proven innocent.
But then again, that's just Ace Attorney in general. Like, we've already established plenty of, like, you know, deniability here. The detectiving and objecting is going well. Oh, yes. This man is a fucking sham. It's in his name. Sham Spear. It's right there. Sham wow? More like sham fuck you. Willingly would I suffer what punishment is seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas. But I pray ye, wise and noble fellows, ne'er forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Jurors, all your humble servant Shamspear doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord. If I may speak, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Foreman.
I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. By me? Man, they really can't decide who they hate more. Is it Shamspear or is it me? Who is the true piece of shit here? I do declare you may be right. We all know the wife there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm. What this lawyer lad says, if he's stealing gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path. That's what he's been doing. I really never said anything like that. But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it.
The court acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings.
What? No! You can't yet!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty. 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 Guilty.
Jesus Christ! Oh, Alistair, he reminds me... What, Shamspear? Shut up. I am not Shamspear. I am much better looking than Shamspear. I'm much more dignified than Shamspear. I may be a theater kid, but I'm not a fucking, I don't know what you would even call him. I'm not a goddamn... What do you call someone like that? I don't even know. Where they're just like majorly flamboyantly theatrical. I mean, he's a different kind of drama queen. Drama queen of like, you know, the like actual like theater drama. Not drama queen as in like, ooh, did you hear that that Julie down the way cheated on Billy? Can you believe that? Did you hear that?
I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord.
Oh, happy day! How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination.
Very well. The court upholds the defense's right.
Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth.
This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
Yeah, I know. I expected number 5 to have a way deeper voice, and I still give him a very deep voice when I read his lines. I'm a man of logic, me, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty. I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Gas doesn't come free. It costs a fortune to deliver it. Well, I do declare, gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes. Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, There's no other explanation, is there?
He really is saying berries and cream. You learned your stepmom is best friends with a Broadway actor. Nice! That's actually really cool. I would have loved to be like an actor of some sort, but just wasn't really in the cards for me. So now I'm just a clown on Twitch.
I do feel that perhaps the personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. But never mind.
No, you really should mind. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. Mr. Shamspeare was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that. Then how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamspeare was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty.
No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
Thought you were a prince, not the court's jester. Yes, lift me. How are you gonna lift me when you're shorter than me, Mabel? How are you gonna manage that? I'm taller than you. How can you lift me? Okay, press this man. All the evidence, you say? That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with the big mustache, says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. If only we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry, the summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps it'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. Start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. Okay, let's press this, because he's talking about poisoning. I'm very interested in how gas poisons you. Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I take poison over gas every time. You'd take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah, you're right. I hadn't considered that at all. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you at our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past.
Hold it!
Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. She's really buzzing now. All I've heard about our wonderful fuel is explosions and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? All right, Thomas Edison. Shut the fuck up. Am I 5'9"? I'm like probably 5'9", 5'10". I don't have. That's probably somewhere in around the range of official Alistair height. I'm not 5'4". Shut up, Shia. Built to lift. True. Small but powerful. A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
electricity doesn't cause explosions. Like, that doesn't cause property damage. Like you get electrocuted, you might live. You don't typically survive an explosion. Like, Jesus. What, Mabel is up to my eyes? What? No, what? If Mabel's 5'4" and I'm 5'9", that's, what? Up to my eyes. That's, wait, is that about 5 inches? A little more than that. I don't know. I don't know the, like, math. I don't know lengths.
Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable.
My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know. More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed. Nobody is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? What, they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible?
Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. Now that's my kind of heist. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to its tricks. Look at this man. He's so excited. Look at him pog. What do you have to say, sir?
Excuse me.
You have something to say about that, juror number 3. Oh, golly. You mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself. Really did catch him off guard there. How do you catch a man off guard that's going like... How do you catch a man like that off guard? He wasn't even being subtle about it. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see? Go on. An Altamont gas worker. Fuck! I've been doing the southern accent so much now I can't do the British accent! I am British. I have a British accent. I have a British accent. An Altamont gas company worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in, and do you know what he did? I'm, afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
Ah, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe the lights of an adjacent property that has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right. The lights didn't just flicker. They went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. I guess he's Southern now because I can't stop doing the Southern accent. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue that we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you like. Oh, well, if you like. I don't mind. I'm British. Oh, well, if you like. I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that try to delude us. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already.
Very well. Juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly.
Yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Let's see. Blow too hard into a gas pipe and you extinguish everything in the house. And then you're in real trouble. Let me press you. I haven't pressed you yet. This isn't the time or place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas, and air is free. Why should ultimate gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or place to be ruthless either. If I might interject here. Yes, madam? It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas, utterly unforgivable. No, Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway. Did you hear that sound? That clicking sound? It's just me or that sounded familiar. It's the same noise they use for like some of the like UI sound effects that she used for her mirror. It was almost like it was almost like she was like in TF2 like pulling out a weapon. It almost sounded kind of sounded a little bit like that. For some reason it just gave me like TF2 vibes where it's like a I don't know, kind of cartoony sound effect to the weapon. Anyway, just pulling out her dead ringer. That's all it was. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas. Let's see.
Hold it!
What does this have to do with anything? You mean it's poisoned? That's right. It happened to be a tidy few times now.
This is most troubling indeed.
Always days like this one where I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it. My wife. She gets that devilish look on her face, and she slips some white powder into my cup. And you drink it anyway? I was brought up proper, I was. Someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it. And what happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as hell. Oh, she puts salt in his tea. Oh my god. That's so mean. But not exactly poison. And I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. No! So She doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. Get you a woman who cares enough to poison you properly.
Let's move on, please. If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there?
Hold it!
Does that mean if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you'd change your leaning?
Sorry, what's that now?
Oh, I was just saying if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on that night.
What's the matter with you?
Sorry?
I said, if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all?
I feel like there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all, it would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. I suppose. The trouble is, he has selective hearing. Exactly, but still. This juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. This is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people. I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way Mr. Shamspeare was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened some other way and not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen. Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something you might have forgotten. Oh? Like what? It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people if they react to something someone else says. If you'd like me to remind you exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to, of course. Again, Soseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. No need. I remember perfectly. I've already done it. Okay, so... I suppose it would be... Alright, don't mind me. Don't mind me doing just a little tiny bit of saves coming here. A little bit. Just tiny bit. So I think I pit you against him, right?
Objection!
There we go. Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Water, bitch.
Thank you for the hydrate, Zeal.
Water, bitch.
Take a little sip. Puts in an ad like looking for yandere wife. Oh god, did you hear? Wait, I need to like check something in a minute here, but did y'all hear that Yandere Simulator is going to be finished very soon apparently? Like apparently, like Yandere dev like finished the game. Like he took 7 years to make Osana and now he's like ready to release. It's apparently a hot mess. I would imagine it's like a pile of garbage right now. Juror number 6. Did you hear what juror number 3 just said?
What? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other.
If there is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a matter of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question.
What? What explanation?
I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene to see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe. Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. Oh, Selexa, thank you for the host. I didn't really hear the thing, but thank you. I glanced over and I saw the thing, but I don't see the notification. It didn't really make a sound. It's weird. The notifications have been kind of quiet lately. I don't really know why.
Oh, wait. He released no devlogs ever. That game can't be done unless he copy-pasted everything. I mean, like, he did, like, a bunch of devlogs up to, like, a point, and then it's, like... And then it's like, you know, he did, like, Osana, and then he bitched about, like, emails for, like, a long time. He bitched about emails a lot. And then there was, like, a lot of whining and moaning about Osana. Tiny Build offered to help, and then he turned them down. Jesus Christ. People are gonna play it for the memes, and all the bad stuff this incel has done will be swept under the rug. Jesus Christ. Yes. Hello, Anazoth. I didn't say hello properly, but I have seen you here. I saw you call this clown cart and... Clown cart! Ah, yes, my favorite racing game, Clown Cart. Beep, beep, honk, honk. Clown Court. Yes, I did see. And Anazoth has been here. Alien hiding in secret. What a piece of work is a man! A miserable little pile of secrets! What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspear? What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body.
Good lord.
This seems a little bit contrived. Are they tasty then, gas pipes? Is that what he's saying? Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him then. With him, For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you I am not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
This is no summation examination. This is a farce. Not to be confused with a fart, considering how much we're talking about gas. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friends' conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say. Man really threw his chalice into the fire 2 times in the span of 1 minute.
Objection!
It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Shamspear put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamspear has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall. Been doing what in front of the lamp now? And I have evidence to prove it. All right, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. So would I. Let's see this evidence, then. Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shamspear stood in front of his gas lamp. Let me take a quick look at this. Aha, that's it, isn't it? That their box. I'm guessing here. Let's see. Oh, hang on, I'm itching my eye. Eye is itchy. Give me a minute. Face is gonna fuck up a little bit. Oh. Oh. Aha! Yeah, this is the proof. He's got handprints all over his goddamn wall.
Take that!
What the? These are... Wait, what are they called? Ah, yes. Skin prints that were found at the scene. Ugh, why is my eye so goddamn itchy? Ugh, it's winter. There's no allergies.
Skin prints, Counsel. I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence to the court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reveals all the places that Mr. Shamspeare touched in his room.
I've never seen anything like it.
I mean, that's black magic, isn't it?
Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamspeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here.
Around the hanging picture there. Indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Shia, come on now. Contain yourself. I believe in you. You can do it. Well, actually, I don't. I know you can't, but you can try. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right, what have you been up to, you nut? I'd ask the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now, if you'll recall juror number 3's statement... What? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights and the gas stove to go out, and the gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is... if Mr. Shamspeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey! Are you suggesting that the man purposely caused the gas to...
Objection!
Was he killing... He was trying to kill Soseki, wasn't he? Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law.
What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zykes?
This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting new forensic technique, developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Ugh.
Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
But... Please, my lord, if I may. Mr. Sato, it was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And, if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. Oh, Susato is so fucking clever. You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare that the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. Alright, we turned 2 of them around. Just gotta get 2 more. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy.
Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise.
No, wait! You heard his lordship.
scales are even now. Come on, one more. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Just one more juror changes his or her mind. Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Mrs. Sato. But I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success. Shamspear's sweating, man. But yeah, like here's what I'm thinking, right? Here's what I'm thonking in my brain head. I'm thinkerinoing that Shamspear here is perhaps a bit racist or something to the matter. He hates Soseki. He hates Soseki a lot because if you'll remember, Soseki was talking about how he feels his place is haunted because he wakes up being, strangled, choked, right? Here's the thing, though. Here's the problem. Problem is that the thing that's choking him is most likely his gas. He's like experiencing a gas leak almost every night. And who's causing the gas leaks? Why, that would be Mr. Shamspear blowing out the gas lamps so that when he releases it, the gas starts leaking into everybody's rooms. Right? He's mad because he lost the Romeo and Juliet Royal Rumble. Yeah, exactly. It could be that, but considering how many times it's happened to Soseki, I feel like it's got to be like more than just that. Like he's got a long-held like resentment for Soseki for some reason. I feel like we're gonna have to pull Garrett back up on the stand to attest to like the flickering and the going out of the gas lamps, because he says like, oh, I can tell when someone arrives or leaves because the gas lamps flicker when somebody turns their gas on, right? That's what I think. That's what I'm expecting to happen here. Why, Mr. Shamspear, you seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it.
Very well. Continue, counsel.
Very interested in the results of the Great Detective's investigations. We're the ones who decide if the evidence is worthy of consideration. Us, the jury. Doesn't come for free. Sketchy tea. Well, I can't press or pit any of those statements. Let me press you, because you got cut off by Mr. Man over here. Let me see what happens when I get past that part. Hang on. Alright, she gets mad about electricity. Let's see. Right, okay, they're talking about people that steal gas by connecting their pipes to hers. It's almost unbelievable. It's happening all the time, right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see, you know? Very difficult indeed.
Thank you, that will do. Clearly, this is a very involved subject, but I feel we have digressed rather too much already.
I concur, though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To your new career in nothingness. Thank you so much.
You will turn your attention to the next juror's assertion, please, counsel.
Okay, wait. We have new evidence here. Hang on.
Hold it!
Press this man. Press him. All the evidence, you say? That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with a big mustache. Okay, it says the Englishman with a bigger mustache. The defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events at the night in question. What do you make of that? What, your so-called skin prints? It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique, developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamspear had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind.
But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes? Even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh. If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please. Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Oh, let's find out. Let me see. Right. There's that. Manchester Strange Way Prisons announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes. Early hours of the morning. He'd been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Okay, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine. Toxic effects presents 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea if the victim was drinking. 1:30 a.m. on the 21st of February. Needed for poison was found at the scene. They show that Mr. Shamspeare really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question. This is actually a tough one. I don't think I have any evidence that proves he blew down that pipe on the night of the, attempted poisoning. But I think I have supporting testimony from our good friend Soseki. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. What's that? Testimony? This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony reveals details about the gas in the Garadeb residence that night. Namely, it's either going to be Garadeb or it's going to be Soseki. I think it's Soseki about how he, constantly gets, choked out.
Take that!
I was right. Look at me go. Damn, I'm good. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. Ooh. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed. But before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not?
Good golly!
So that Shamspeare fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose? Now hold your horses there. What would he do that for? Mr. Foreman. What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed whilst this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree there's more to this case than meets the eye. Transformers. Ugh. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. It's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination has concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted and, in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shakespeare.
My lord, how can thy humble Shakespeare serve thee?
What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination?
So God mend me, I do solemnly swear that I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe. But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Who, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. Minx, hello! Time to catch another failed attempt at closing a case before it ends. Ugh. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection.
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shamsmere's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there...
Objection.
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes. Therefore, it shouldn't be on your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. Ugh, I didn't think of that.
In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived?
There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder. He wanted to kill Soseki.
Order! Order! Counsel!
Ugh, God. Hang on, I'm gonna stretch real quick. Oop. Hang on. Oh, good lord. Yes, hello, Minx. Welcome on in. I'm feeling the sleepies hitting me just a little bit. God, it's too early to be sleepy.
Precisely whose life do you propose this young man was plotting to end?
The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery thus far. Mr. Shamspeare wanted to end the life of our good friend Soseki Natsume. If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I lived around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lid is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamspeare was trying to end.
Outrageous!
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
Objection.
Just took a shower. Ah, very nice. Oh, bath sounds nice. Maybe in a bit. I'll think about it. The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting.
However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged, namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison?
So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs? Oh my god, it was Gassman. It was Gassman. Gassman, possibly so obsessed with helping the gas company, he found out that Shamspere was blowing into the gas pipe, and so he spread poison on the gas pipe. I'm just saying, that could be it. You mean to suggest? Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Whatever Mr. William Shamspeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. Yeah, but like, couldn't you call for like self-defense at that point? Like, arguably, you could argue self-defense. Like, use the poison self-defensively. Oh my god. Oh wait, did I not read that line? I may have forgotten to read that line. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established. That suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Clearly correct. No, he's not right. He's wrong. He's got it all wrong. Stop simping for the prosecution. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. As it happens... one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, don't you worry. We know exactly what... There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all this. True culprit of this crime.
The true culprit!
Celexa, Jesus Christ. Thank you for the bit, but no.
We're not doing that right now. Not tonight. All right? Look, if I do that, everyone's gonna lose their shit. Like, you think this is kangaroo court? I'm about to have a goddamn kangaroo chat. Oh, fuck, I didn't mean to click. A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Well, if you want Dom sites, you're fine. I'll tell you right now, there'll never be any disappointing climaxes with me. Anyway, moving on. Thank you. Crush our heads with his squishy thighs to get us to side with him. No. Minx, you have it wrong. You have it wrong. There's two types of thighs, right? There's strong muscular thighs and there's like soft squishy thighs. You need to be strong and muscular to do the crush option. With me, you get the smother option. It's slower, but it's softer, you know? Anyway. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? I think I know. It's gotta be you, right?
Take that!
You claim this person is the true culprit? Highly suspicious, I would say, yes. Perhaps my learned Nipponese friend... Really? It's not Gassman? Fuck. I thought it was Gassman. He investigated the meter, right? Then you must concentrate harder. Oh, fuck. Okay. True culprit in this crime. I mean... Passed away a month ago as a result of gas poisoning. It could be her, right? I mean, she's real mad at this man for stealing gas. I mean, it's possible. I didn't want to name her because, like, she hasn't... I don't think she's physically been to the man's, like, residence. But Gassman absolutely was. Gassman said he checked the meter himself. I mean... Is she really going to be the fucking murderer here? I have a hard time believing that. But there's not really anyone else it could be. I don't think it can be Garadeb. You know? So, I guess it has to be. I mean, here's... Actually, this is going to tie into this, probably. Fucking Duncan also died of gas poisoning in the same room as, Soseki. That Soseki lives in now. So, this is like another victim of fucking, Shamspear. The man's a fucking serial killer.
Take that!
No, it's not her. What? Who the fuck would it be then? Yeah, we accuse Van Zykes of it. Fucking... Save scum time, save scum time. It's a save scum time. Fuck, who could it be? Unless he put it on himself. Why would he put it on himself, though? Like, would that be to accuse him of Is that like the goal here? To get Soseki thrown in jail? To like hung rather? Did he poison himself with like a trace amount that he figured he would survive in an attempt just to frame Soseki? That seems a little extreme.
But I guess it's not impossible. Here's another question. Why was Shamspear speaking with Olive Green? Because we saw Shamspear visiting Olive Green at the hospital, and Shamspear seemed pretty upset with her. So she's got to be like some sort of cohort in all this, right? But there's like no... She was painting him, wasn't she? Did she figure it out? That seems too far-fetched. Like, did she figure out that Shamspear killed her boyfriend by gas poisoning and then offered to, like, paint Shamspear, and while she was in his room, found, like, poisoned the gas pipe for the next time he tried to kill someone with gas? God, every possibility just seems so far-fetched. Like, it could be anything, really. My gut tells me it probably wasn't Shamspear poisoning himself. But that wouldn't be... That would kind of make sense, too. I don't know.
Take that!
No shit. No shit? The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear is, I believe... Wait. The blue bottle! The blue bottle! She was gonna drink it! It was probably full of strychnine! Remember? Did you remember? You remember she was going to, like, try and kill herself at the hospital? She had, like, a blue bottle. Is that what she used? And she'd be able to apply it to the pipe by using her paintbrushes. What the fuck, dude? How did she figure out that's how he killed her boyfriend, though? Because that's got to be her motivation. Her motivation was clearly that she figured out that Shamspear killed her boyfriend via gas poisoning. How'd she figure that out, though? How'd she learn that? Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green! Miss Olive Green. I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Council, but I don't recall where.
Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road, an incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add.
Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago.
And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamspear's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious, so on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious, she had poison!
And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Shamspear.
My lord, pray what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspear's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, Miss Olive Green.
Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient.
Very well. I grant the request.
Excellent. I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
What's a Nipponese? It means Japanese. Nippon, or rather, Nihon, is the Japanese word for Japan. You just think it sounds lewd because it sounds like nipple. Is that how you say subpoena? Yeah. Subpoena is like one of those words that's like, it's very weird to like read for the first time. Everything sounds lewd to me, so you're right. Hang on. Fuck. No, I got it! Finally killed the little shit. Sorry, there's been like a fruit fly buzzing around my room like since I got home. And I finally just managed to catch it and kill it. So if you heard me clap, that's what that was. Nah, not a mosquito. Definitely a fruit fly. Or not a fruit fly, but like a really small fly. I've had, like yesterday, I just had like a bunch of them flying around. Like that's like the 4th or 5th one I've killed in like the past like day. They just came up out of nowhere. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks! Oh, Mr. Natsume. I'm so pleased for you. God, shut up, Shia. Holy shit. Apple cider vinegar in a cup. I've heard that. I don't have any apple cider vinegar, and I don't want to buy a whole bottle of it because it's pretty expensive. And I would not use it for anything. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquiress. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Look who finally showed up. Hairlock Sholmes. May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. I thought the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Please, save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me that night, I thought, tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all of its own, does it not? Oh, yes. And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? Sholmes, why you gotta call me out like this? Like, shut up. Shut up. Don't fucking call me out like this. And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. The floor is made out of floor. People die when they are killed. Jesus. Is that not an astute point on the matter? Oh, yes. Upon which realization, I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results. Oh, Christ. By first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Oh, Sholmes. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. What others propose, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this? Ah. Yes, of course, it's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a laborious task, as the bottle was near empty, but such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. I was right. I was right. I was right. So I was right. It's just you falling asleep in a room full of people. Shut up! That doesn't happen. I've never done that. I don't know what you're talking about, Unamused. Anyway. Perhaps. Though the course of such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Could I have a word? Gregson, how good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector! I, don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look on your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please, speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Do you have the results, Inspector? The investigation of Mr. Shamspeare's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. That dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamspeare's room? A man by the name of... Ah, yes, Selden. I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that... Well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what? I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Thank you! Oh. These documents. Let's take a look. Let's take a little peek. Let's take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. Photographic evidence? Shut up. You ain't got shit. Anyway. Let's see. Investigative findings relating to Selden. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Died of natural causes whilst in prison. His final moments was witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated 1,000 pounds worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. Manchester Strangeways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Okay. I don't know what that tells us. Include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have duplicate information. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. A shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way to the courtroom at once. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally, so best of luck to you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamspear. This is going to be the final battle. I won't really have saved Soseki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. It's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to. Right. We got this. We got this now. I can't believe Olive Green might be the one behind this shit, though. Jesus Christ. Last person I probably would have expected.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident.
A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration.
A rather cold assessment from the Honorable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zykes, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand?
Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord.
Very well. Bailiff, bring the witness in.
Oh, she's painting. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please.
William Shamspear, my liege. For mine occupation, I can say only that I be a tragic victim to be pitied.
Currently unemployed, in other words.
I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose.
Also currently unemployed, in other words. Oh, Christ. What a coterie.
Mr. Shamspear.
My lord, I am thy humble servant.
I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. Possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you.
I would for naught else, my lord.
And Miss Green.
Yes?
You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume.
Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man. Come, lady, die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage.
Very well, let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
It's all very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. On the night this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Geradeb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, though no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion? What other irrelevant things must I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green.
Jesus Christ, Judge, you can't just fucking say that, man. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamspear's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. Okay, hang on. Give me, just a second here. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. That's why we would like you
to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh no. The incident 6 days ago. You mean you want me to relive that awful accident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And, of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamspear. But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned.
Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February.
It was 6 days ago, at about 5 p.m., I was walking along in the snow and I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to just be outside the house, where the men in this case have their lodgings. You're gonna paint your cheek. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speak, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was administered straight to the hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
Yes, the second inside a week does at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence.
Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspear. 'Twas following morn when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine? Soseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at a first glance, but I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here, I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish.
Yes, my lord. Alright, here we go. Right, okay. Meeting outside the lounge, men their lodgings. At the tavern.
Hold it!
A tavern, you say? Which one? 'Twas the Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End. And a little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Van Zykes? The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water, in 3 different levels of cloudiness. I would have expected Grub's grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's so wrong with that? How different can water really be? I mean, I've seen tier lists for bottled water. And tap water, for that matter. I've been to, I've lived in different places and the tap water's tasted different everywhere. You know? Making some ugly old man you get healed. Maho, hello! How you doing? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, Maho, I don't know if you noticed, but I have sub badges now. You now have a little paper Burger King crown. But perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment. Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days, he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. Mr. Shamspear's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. We might. Let me examine this one more time. Urban Books, Mircom Street. Neither of those shops are on this map. Hmm. Young man. Piece of an envelope. This is a push the other day. I don't think we have it yet. I wish we did, but sadly I can't think of anything at the moment. If we find a clue that explains why Mr. Shamsphere went there, we must present it to the court. Yes, absolutely.
That is all on this matter, Counsel. I would ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement.
Oh no, Maho! I hope it feels better. Put some ice on it and, like, elevate it. That should help. Let's see. Let's see. So it was the first time in the area. Press her about this. What matter were you attending to exactly? What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate. It was nothing, really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. Ah. It was related to the card you were holding. Miss Green. What was that? She clearly just hid something behind her back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Well, what does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan. Hello.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say, Shamsphere? Mr. Shamsphere, do you have something to share with the court? To be or not to be, that is the question. Ah, pray forgive me. The great bard's word springeth from me with ne'er a thought. Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Well, nay, sire. 'Twas nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean? After all, you were both lodgers at the same house. I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours?
Miss Green,
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong?
the card that was mentioned before, containing the note, do you have it upon your person?
I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really?
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please.
Look at the envelope. That fits the fragment of envelope we found in Shamsphere's room. This places her at the scene. Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, I'd love some good donuts right now, honestly. Not Dunkin' Donuts. Like, Dunkin' Donuts doesn't even know how to fucking, like, frost a donut properly. Their donuts fucking suck. Tim Hortons is better. Not great, but better. As far as, like, chain donuts go. But, like, the best donuts, we have, like, two, like, really good, like mom and pop places around here for donuts. They're fucking incredible. Oh, my God, I love them. They have, like, red velvet donuts, which are just, oh, they're amazing. And, like, the old-fashioned, like, glazed, ooh, that's the good shit. Or, like, honey glazed or maple glazed. They're all just, like, really, really good. Apple cider donuts with, like, some glaze on them are just, ooh, good shit. I like cakey donuts, you know? I don't like the ones that are, like, kind of, like, that are really fluffy and, like, spongy. I like my donuts a little bit cakey, you know? Like a little crispy on the outside, like, chewy on the inside sort of donuts. With a lot of frosting. Like, don't skip on the fucking frosting. Like I'm already eating, like, fried sugar batter. Just give me more sugar with it. Spot here in Orlando called Valkyrie. Ooh, that does sound nice. All right, of course, that's what links Mr. Shamspear and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross.
Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green.
Hold a moment. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Ah. What is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact same shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up. Yeah, perfect match. They go together perfectly. This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card. Hell yes. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Oh, was that it? Was that the only thing? Okay. Oop. Hang on. So, yeah, this is interesting. So, Miss Green had an envelope that, the ripped off stub was in, Mr. Shamspear's room. So that's interesting.
Hold it!
Yes, you didn't regain consciousness until the day after the trial, did you? In the early hours. Exactly. So how could I have anything to do with it? And yet you still haul me in here to court like this. Honestly. So at the time of the poisoning, the witness was unconscious in her hospital bed. Could there be a more airtight alibi, I ask you? And yet, in spite of that, you claim that I was the culprit. Well, you certainly haven't produced any evidence to support your wild claim, have you? None at all. There you have it. The good lady has yet to see evidence, my learned Nipponese friend. I'm working on it.
Counsel, I will point out here that the jury's next decision will be final.
We're really up against the wall here. Okay, 5 p.m. All right.
Hold it!
So we have some new evidence here. Oh. So we skip through all this. A moment. Mr. Shamspear. Yes, sire. On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? Ah, I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakst. Very well, I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely...
Take that!
I believe this card reveals the answer.
Good lord! Miss Green's card, you mean?
That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspear, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Ah! Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspear? Ah, well. Excuse me, can I say something? Yes, Miss Green. That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it?
Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely... My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well, then. You may amend your testimony to include details about the peculiar note.
This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Okay, so I'm gonna save real quick because I think we don't need to press this, but just in case we do. We shouldn't need to press this. We should be able to just present the fact that this was found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Objection!
Yeah, that's what I thought. Familiar with Orlando geography, but it's across the UCF. Cider donuts from a cider mill. Oh, hell yeah. Ooh, I missed some good donut talk over here. I'm just gonna not say anything about one of those comments about donuts. I'm just gonna ignore it. Filled donuts, jelly or cream? I like donuts without fillings myself. I like, you know, like I said, I like them cakey. And you can't really get a cakey donut with a filling. Those ones have to be a little bit more like fluffy and spongy. Otherwise, it'd be like way too heavy and rich. Day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. Upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in the hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me. Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Where did you find that? In Mr. Shamspeare's room. Eh? In my room? Mr. Shamspeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Ah, well. Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspeare. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green. Ah, what did I do? As this torn-off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspeare's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke... I mean, thou were in my room? He's breaking character. He's starting to break character. Wait, we need the out of character voice. You did what? Sorry. Thou hast what? You broke... I mean, thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me?
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again.
Miss Green.
Yes.
Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind.
Yes, I know.
Very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received.
My God, Minx.
I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago. Peradventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day written therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here. As for that torn-off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it.
You've explained nothing.
You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspeare?
Faith, 'tis so, my lord. And I would swear to have set it upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it.
Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was...
A lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think that I'm the one lying.
I beg your pardon.
I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said. And fledgling artists don't lie. The note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar around here is.
If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
I don't see why I should explain.
Sorry?
I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is just to say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer.
The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth.
Well, counsel.
I'm ready, my lord.
Very well, then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamspeare's room. There can be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note.
Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all this. And it's not a pretty one. Oh my god, Minx. Don't stop giving false testimony just to have Van Zyke shatter your spine. Let's see. A week ago, he got the note. The day therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. After on the evening... Okay, let's talk about this, how it vanished. When exactly did you notice that it had gone missing?
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room.
Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval.
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in the hospital, was she not? Clearly, then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding. Isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir?
You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note. I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that.
Oh, dearie me.
What's Lord Van Zyke's getting at? Yes, I do think you would sneak into his room. It seems this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamspeare about 1 week ago.
Oh, does it?
But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings.
Objection.
But for what reason would the witness have done that? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could only have come into possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shamspeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing.
What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though?
Yes, we should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruhodo.
We're close now. I can feel it. We're so close to a breakthrough.
So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it? I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted creatures. Introverted? Fie! This fledgling doth readily cast aspirations about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wing. Oh pity, wherefore dost thou accuse one of so pure of heart, ample woman? Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure. Tragedy! Thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years! Alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain! Mr. Naruhodo, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine. I'm no Shakespearean actor, Mr. Sato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is evidence. Yes! It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shamsier's room, where he found the letter. Yep. Let me ask him about this real quick. So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sire. 'Tis as thou sayest. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall.
Really? You mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all?
I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord, no. 'Tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to an almost clear water, and mine innards do to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire, flies! Just like my room right now. Trying to kill all these goddamn flies that appeared out of nowhere.
Good lord!
In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer night's dream, come to taunt me? No. I think they were just flies. I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me? Well, I mean, flies are attracted to garbage. Which is why they'd be drawn to my content. Anyway. I did see the note had vanished. Why would I? I think this is the one I have to present on, right? But what do we use? What reason would she have to break into his lodgings? Actually, let me press that last statement just to be, like, certain. Because I didn't press this one. And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sire, 'tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily, 'tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack, if the choice is betwixt I knew him and I knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I be forced to declare we were by some small measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the Slug and Salad. Presumably, that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature? Marry, naught will have better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So 'tis true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet in the end, my curiosity was not satiated. Okay. Huh. So it's gotta be this, right?
Has to be, has to be. So let me present... Why would she break into his lodgings? What was the point? Hmm. Hmm. Trying very hard to figure this out. Why would she break in? It would be because she suspected him of murdering, her boyfriend, right? It would have to be. I'm not sure. A little stumped on this one in particular. It could be... It could be this. It could be that she was trying to clean up the last piece of evidence? I don't feel like this is right, though. I wouldn't think they would make me present this again so soon. Examine this one more time. Okay, that sounds tea. 21st of February, assessment watch, man collapsed. Container for the poison was found at the scene. Photographic print, Mr. Shamspeare's room. Jesus. I'm really not sure.
Objection!
No, that's not it. What am I missing? Did I already press this? I can't remember. Yes, I did. Oh, Zeal, thank you for the hydrate. I will do just that. I'll drink some water. You know that they know that you won't present evidence again so quick. What was that? What did you two just say? Found this letter. Two of us for conclusions. Conclusion. Terry, a long hour. The chapter shouting note vanished.
Hold it!
Ah, shit! I didn't mean to do that. Wrong button.
Objection!
I pushed the wrong button a lot. Okay. So yeah, we need to like figure out why she broke in. And I think maybe it is the letter itself.
Objection!
No? That's not it. It's definitely because she wanted to, like, kill him. This maybe?
Objection!
There we go. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilt during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Sholmes' chemistry set, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine. What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear. Ah! Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamspear's room with poison. Look at him staring daggers at her.
Can this be?
You broke into my room, too. It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspear's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, dearie. Me! That is a hell of a falling animation.
Order! Order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill?
Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts.
But if Miss Green did indeed set this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely.
Well, it's a very good point. Perhaps not, my lord.
I beg your pardon.
There was a significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zykes. And of course, the following morning, there was more activity at Mr. Shamspear's address. More activity? Yes! You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder. That's right. And as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Shamspear was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant. Ooh. But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamspear had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant. And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again. Right, Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end.
Trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted.
That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out and Mr. Shamspear was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. Mary! Look at her, she's standing on a very tall box. With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan.
What plan?
The court will recall that the note gave instructions to visit the Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear. To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time. To make sure I wasn't home. Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say, that letter? Short stack Olive Green. I mean, you're not wrong. She's short, very tiny, very, very short and wide. This is a good thing. Was written by Miss Green, yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left.
just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room.
Order! Order! What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me? Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial. So, that's what's behind all this.
You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life?
That would be, Duncan Ross.
Take that!
Duncan Ross.
That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodging at Mr. Garadeb's, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago, when the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings.
That does ring in a vague... Oh, yes, of course now. I remember. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamsphere blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Ah! Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths, that's all people care about. It's an interesting story they want to know. It doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean you. Duncan was... Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé. Fiancé? You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamsphere. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy. The murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Marry! Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamsphere, you smeared poison all over the end of the gas pipe? Oh... Minx! I mean, that's true. This is a true fact about Minx. Also short and wide. Also a good thing. God damn, there's so many short and wide people in my chat. Like a lot of you. Oh, ooh, hang on. We losing frames? We losing a couple frames here? Oh, we losing some frames? Oh, we're losing some frames. Ooh. We good? We good? Light green? Solid green? Yellow? Green? Orange? Yellow? Light green? Green? Yellow? Red? Oh, fuck. Just keeping an eye on it. We good? 3,200 frames. That's a lot of, that's a lot of frames. Less than superior tallness. You know, Shia is tall. I do know this also. Or at least, you know, Shia's bun is very tall. Very tall bun. Very good, very tall bun. Everyone in this chat is short and wide except for me and Shia. We're tall and wide. Well, Shia's tall and wide. I'm normal-sized and wide. Zeal's also short and wide. God, what's going on with my net here? What's going on? Come on now. Work with me. We can't be dropping frames during the big, like, climax. Oh my god. Quit it! Anyway, I'm gonna stop obsessing over it.
This is all quite extraordinary. I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel. Each on different counts of murder.
Yes, my lord. That's correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded. What? Why would Mr. Shamspear have wanted to kill these lodgers, as you say? You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man. Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance. And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either. Miss Green. I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel. But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason? I thought I'd have a look around, that's all. Sorry? You're right, I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life. Oh vileness, oh villainy, oh tyranny, oh rotundity of woman! Rude. But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some terps and a piece of wire. Oh awfulness, oh tyranny, oh profanity of woman! We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion, but for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence your search revealed. Well, I spotted the note that I'd sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose. Underneath it, I discovered a secret hiding place. Eh? Yes, we also discovered that hiding place. Inside, we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Ah, yes, well the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty. What? There was something in it? Yes. This rather nice key. Ah! What are you doing with that? What the? Every ounce of color has drained from his face. Give it here. Give it to me now. It's mine. I inherited it. What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it. No, What's all this about? He inherited that key? He's the thief's, son, right? Has to be. It was obviously important to you since you'd gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Give it back this minute. Give it to me!
Calm yourself, witness.
So Mr. Shamspear has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shamspear at first. Oh, I think I get it. So my guess is that the secret stash of loot is supposedly hidden in the upper lodgings. He inherited the key that unlocks, whatever contains the fortune from Salib, right? Or Salin? Whatever the fucking thief's name was. He inherited that key. It opens the whatever compartment or safe or box contains the stashed loot, 1,000 pounds worth, which is a whole lot in today's money. Because 1800s inflation. And the man who died, the thief, lived in the upper floor, so that's where he stashed his loot. And Shamspear has been killing whoever lives there in an attempt to break in and find the loot. That has to be it. But considering everything we now know, I think there's actually something that could explain it. What? I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal, everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all these events.
In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. What is it that you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Shamspear's alleged crimes?
I think it's this.
Take that!
Yep.
That's an official police report, is it not?
The Selden file? How did you get a hold of that? Selden. The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant Mr. Natsume have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room.
Well, yes, we know this certainly.
A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries.
I see.
And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. The sum 1,000 pounds worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found.
Ah, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in his file here.
Apparently, 100 pounds in 1800 is worth 8,797 pounds today. So 1,000 pounds is worth 87,000 pounds. And you translate to dollars, and it's like over $100,000. Basically. 1,000 pounds lost en route to hell. That was how the papers summed it up. It seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret. The location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. Mr. Shamspear, do you have a criminal record? You mean to say that this key is... Mr. Shamspear, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? What are you talking about? 'Tis a false charge, I tell you. A false charge! The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in this file, but a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is.
But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings?
There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. Yeah, I got this nailed down. So, it all comes out. Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamspear's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Garrideb's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's old room. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice, because Selden's old room had already been let to somebody else, Mr. Duncan Ross. Which is why Mr. Shamspear subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it.
Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less.
So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamspear? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict. You. The mask is gonna fall right here and now. Looks like I'm gonna snuff it before they get to stretch me neck. Listen, I want you to have me loot. Anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. It's hidden in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Here, this is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Sham spear.
Hell yeah. We love loot here. It's mine. Did he just say? It's mine. That loot is mine. Oh. Mr. Shamspear? It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do. You can't arrest me, for the time being anyway. Verily, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close, I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it. I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up? There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through. How does that not count as a fucking admission of guilt? Like, he admitted to his motive. We know that he has, like, a proper motive for it. How is that not, like, reasonable doubt at this point? What the fuck? It's me when I'm unhinged? Shut up! Shut up. How did Selden get the key into prison? Well, Select, there's a lot of ways to smuggle things into prison, alright? Minx, what the fuck are you quoting? I don't... You're quoting something. But I have no fucking idea what. What? Huh? Is that fucking Game Grumps? Oh. Oh, I see. Yeah, that sounds like Game Grumps. You know what? You say that and immediately I can hear that in like... I can hear that in like Dan's voice, like immediately, like easily. I'm guessing that's Dan. Like, I'm nearly positive that was Dan. It wouldn't be beyond Aaron to say either, but that feels very Dan-esque. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. Does Dan ever say nonsense like that? I don't know. He's fucking Danny Sexbang. He would say it sounds like he would like say some fucking like really sexual shit like that. That's kind of his shtick as a musical artist. It was Aaron, huh? All right. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Game Grumps. All right. I haven't watched Game Grumps like much at all since like the JonTron days. Not on that level? I don't know. It sounds like something he would say. You gotta understand, most of my exposure to Game Grumps is, fucking, compilations of Aaron being completely shit at Legend of Zelda, and then blaming Zelda for him being shit at it. Wasn't that the dude who was grooming teenage girls? I thought that was, like, dropped. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's one of the accusations that was, like, proven to be false. I don't know. I feel like maybe it was proven false, but I'm not sure. There's been a lot of, like, times where like, allegations were, like, thrown around and people were proven to be, like, it was proven false or was proven to be, like, not nearly as bad as it was made out to be. Like, Vinny was completely innocent. He was framed for that shit. Vinny Vinesauce was accused of, like, giving a grown woman, an STD and, like, ghosting her, and that was proven to be complete bullshit. Pro Jared's thing was not as one-sided as it seemed. He did some things that were not good, but there was some really foul play on both sides, and I believe he proved that he hadn't, like, sent nudes to anyone who was underage. And there was, like, the thing with Pyrocynical. What was it? He admitted to, like... I think he said that he ERP'd with a minor, and he admitted that, it was wrong, and that he stopped doing it, that he wasn't grooming anyone, he didn't initiate anything, and the poor man, poor fucking Pyrocynical, proved his innocence by outing himself as a fart fetishist. Like he had to out himself as a furry fart fetishist to prove his own innocence. And honestly, I kind of feel for the man at that point. But yeah, Pyrocynical's thing was that he was accused like a whole bunch of really rancid, like really awful, like, you know, grooming shit, but it turned out to be like a draw, like very, very minor what he did. And that, you know, he stopped doing it far before he was accused of like doing any of this other shit. But there's a lot of stuff that was like open to interpretation, and a lot of stuff that, you know, it's a lot of he said, she said, or he said, they said, a lot of hearsay on both sides. It's very, very difficult to, like, it's difficult to say what really happened for certain, but a lot of it seems to be not as bad as what, you know, was claimed. What do you mean, since I feel what are you fucking talking about, shit? Fuck out of here. Out of here. Get out. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm into some, like, stuff, but fart fetishism is not one of them. Ugh. Yeah, maybe it's best we move away from this topic. Let's get back to the case and, the murder, shall we? Let's just move away. Let's just keep going here. Never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a way. Pardon? There's one way I can finish him. So anyway... yeah, anyway, back to gas! Minx, no, that's over the line. Sorry. Over the line. Nope. No jokes like that in my chat. Absolutely not. No jokes like that. Anyway, he's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first. A fine plan, were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. It's there at all. It must be very well hidden indeed.
Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule.
Not safe to talk about them? I don't think that's true, Zeal. I don't think it's, like, unsafe to talk about them. Okay, but yeah, the problem is, like, stuff like that just makes people really uncomfortable. So we're gonna move away from it now. All right, we're gonna drop it entirely. If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly. This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. But I think we might have it in our possession already. Or rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where that loot is hidden. My lord.
Yes, counsel.
The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we were already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to its whereabouts. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, used the same technique once already. This definitely paid off then.
Very well then, counsel. Let the court hear your idea. What do you propose we can use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convict's haul?
The skin prints. Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Take that!
If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shamspeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings.
That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene. Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Sholmes. A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bard ought to realize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspear. Herlock, you can't be down here. This is the witness stand. You can't be down here! Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Ah! 'Tis Herlock Sholmes himself! What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not? Ah, Mr. Reaper! It's been too long, and I see your complexion has worsened since last we met. Mr. Sholmes! He does know Lord Van Zykes, then. Well enough to say something like that in any case.
Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit.
If I may, my lord, Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already.
Clues, you say?
I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain that this gentleman's gas pipe activities. Ah! You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution. In your case, sir, I used the teacup you had been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what was now Soseki-san's room. We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that was hidden in his old room. What form will the sample take? It would have to be evidence, right? What do we have here? What was touched by him? Could be the key, perhaps, or... What would he have touched? Oh, wait. We present a person, yeah. We present Olive Green, because she has the key. You'll need something of Selden's in order to create the integrated solution to find his loot. And something the convict owned happens to be in the possession of somebody listed in the court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution? I mean, we'd use Olive Green, but like a lot of people have touched this key in the past month. Just saying, how do we find a portion of the key that only Selden has touched? That hasn't, like, been wiped clean?
Take that!
Like, this would not actually work. Miss Green. Me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Sorry? That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Very true. That is the sample that we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker and find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Ah! Mr. Shamspear, as one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hole is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. Ah. So, Mr. Shamspear, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth. In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key. No, give the key to me. The detective shan't have it. It's over, Mr. Shamspear.
No. No! You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt. Whoa. Oh, shameful spear! Despair! Be thy name! Man shot himself out of the air. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room. That's all. So you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods? Yet after you'd killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Garrideb really has had a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then, this Japanese man swooped in just at the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume, what unfortunate timing. Then 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance, but it wasn't to be. No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by police night and day. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Shom spent the whole day in there reading books. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. William Shamspeare, how does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. Jesus Christ. At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. Gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. It's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. Spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I'd better not. We said we'd wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember? But that was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas. This is fucking tragic, man. If only I'd known it was going to happen. I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. Instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school. Something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grubb's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. That place is cursed, I tell you, cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me. I wake up in the middle of the night for freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked, no problem there. It's like I'm the problem, that's what they're thinking. But how could that be? Duncan was gone, and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered. A rumor I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations.
A rumor? Ah, you mean...
Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes.
How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework.
And that's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets on the East End.
A black market?
I'd never been. I just heard people talk about them. And you really can buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or the other. Was Duncan's death an accident, or was it murder?
And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait.
If Mr. Shamspear was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done.
But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. Or, you know, a gas technician would die. A gas technician would check that pipe in that same way, and he'd die. That could happen. You know, a completely innocent man could have, like, been killed. You know, if Shamspear hadn't done that. Just saying. Well, I mean, Van Zykes mentioned that the poison would have evaporated over time. But, like, what if the gas inspector came, like, the very next day after she applied the poison? She doesn't know what their schedule is. You know? Yeah, Meterman could have like gone pushing up daisies. Poor Meterman.
I found out the name of I suspected, William Shamspear. And then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough so that he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked.
And of course, Mr. Shamspear followed the instructions to the letter.
I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away. So I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd bought all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was all just some wild fantasy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, that the culprit would get his just deserts.
I have to kind of feel for her a little bit here.
The poor woman.
3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward.
Yes, my lord!
I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes.
It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes!
And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you.
Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green.
Yes, my lord?
You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom, as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamspear.
Yes, I know.
And you, Mr. Shamspear, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present.
Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. Yesterday, at the hospital, when you and your friend stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle, I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going on
what was going through my mind. Be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh. And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Shamspear didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now, you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green.
Mr. Soseki Natsume,
Yes, my lord!
the court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty.
We are in full agreement, my lord.
In that case, I hereby declare the defendant
Not guilty, baby! Yeah! Indoor fireworks! Yeah! Fire hazards! Yeah!
court is adjourned.
Between Van Zyke's throwing his, like, alcohol into the lit candles, the fireworks, the giant fucking, scales that are full of fire, the jury throwing fire into the big fires, that's a lot of fire hazard. But yeah, poor fucking poor fucking Olive, man. That really fucking sucks. She had a really fucking tragic, thing go on there. There he is. With his fucking charcoal smear eyebrows. Oh, yes. Yes, at last. Divine justice duly done. Divine justice? My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache. No! This has nothing to do with my mustache! Some say that a luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, once again, you've saved me from doom! I'm very happy to have been of help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? Was there any game that you had to prove that your contractor was guilty? Yes! There was. The final case of Game 2. Justice for All. That was a really fun case, honestly. You actually do force your client to admit their own guilt. Yeah, it's really cool. Do you want to hear the whole thing? Because it's a really interesting case. Honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to spoil it for you. I am going to point you towards RT Game, who is currently doing a playthrough of Justice for All. And we'll reach that case quite soon. He finished Big Top, which is the third case, not super long ago, which means he's going to be moseying through Case 5 fairly soon. Actually, I'm curious. Let me actually check his Twitch real quick. I'm curious to see if he streamed it at all. I think he's on a little bit of a break right now. I think he hasn't streamed in a while. Or he's been doing, like, Mario Party stuff recently. Hang on. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of Pokemon. What game was this? Mario Kart 8, Mario Party, more Pokemon. How long ago was the last Ace Attorney stream? Yeah, the stupidest case yet. Which was almost over 2 weeks ago, actually. I'm sure he'll come back to it eventually, but I'm not going to spoil just how that case goes. I kind of spoiled the ending already, but, yeah. Yeah. You can get it nowadays pretty easily. Yeah, you can also just get the game pretty easily nowadays, but if you're interested in watching someone play it, RT game is really fun to watch. And he's got like sort of they're long like highlight videos, but he has like sort of like condensed versions of those cases on his YouTube channel. So RT game, definitely highly recommend. Yeah. Yep, that's it. RT game. He's wonderful. Very fun, Irish? He's Irish, yeah. He's not British, he's Irish. He's a great bit of fun. Like, the Ace Attorney streams have been a lot of fun to watch. Like, all of his content's good. Just highly recommended. He's pretty popular, and I mean, for good reason. His older content, his, was it City Skylines videos are all really fun to watch. Especially the ones that end in country roads as he destroys his city, which was always built upon some horrible concept, and he just made it work somehow. Like the city that only had one road running through the whole thing. A single one-way road with no intersections. Which means, you know, you put the school, you know, on one end of the road. You put the residential district on the other end. Hospitals at somewhere. So if you happen to live, you know, at one end of the road, and the hospital's all the way at the other end, it's half an hour to get to you, half an hour to get to the hospital. But a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did, and I've seen more of life this week than in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind the wall of fog. My dear fellow, there is nothing special about the true face of the English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live. Well said. I've come to feel the same way. I've made a decision, too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here and return to Japan. What? Just when we become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know. It does tug at my heartstrings. It really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. Novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh my. So you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume. How wonderful. Oh, well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume you to call it literature. Why not? That is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache. I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I've no delusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your work. Well, all things considered, it may be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. That's very true. I can't believe we're shouting out RT Game in my chat. But yeah, he's great. Definitely fun to watch. And yeah, like I said, he has to get through the fourth case first, but then the fifth case is the one with the big, you know, oh, my client is actually a bad person thing going on. And there's no salvation
And there's no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor. The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. My goodness, yes. Faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure. But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it. Objection! And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. Sasaki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial on the following day. Day that we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. What loot did we find? Oh yes, show me the loot. Show me the loot. Show me the loot, the loot, the loot, the loot, the loot. Show me the loot. I don't know, I have a following. I do have a following. I'm not horribly far off from 200 followers. It's like, God, where was I when I started, I wonder? I don't think I have a record of how many followers I had when I debuted, but man, it's grown quite substantially. And you know, I'm very interested in expanding it even further. To that note, though, while there won't be any streams over the week or 2 weeks that I'm gonna be on vacation here, I may play some reruns. I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely considering it. You know, I might do a replay of the Rogue Royale, like the wrestling thing that I did, because that was a lot of fun and I put a lot of work into it. But it was before I really had much of a following, so honestly, not too many people saw it. Adding Kobold. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Oh god, yeah, I was at like 90. Or no, I think I maybe like just hit 100 when you did. Cause I remember it was like, I'm trying to think. Cause I remember when I first stopped into Ryusei's stream, I think he was around like 80 or 90-ish, and I think I had just like, I was either at like 99 or very close to 100. I know I was ahead of him by a very small margin. And now, he's overtaken me, as I expected. Like honestly, the first time I was in Ryusei's stream, within like 15 minutes, I was like, oh, this man's gonna go places. Like, just, wow. So, follow, sub, just like instantly, like, yes, I am on board immediately. He does have that energy. Ryu is a man who's absolutely going places. He's a dragon. He might not have wings, but he's going to take off. Actually, we haven't seen his dragon form yet, have we? We've only seen like the human dragon form that only has the tail. I wonder if Ryu can fly. That's a good question. Well, he is a wizard. Even if he can't fly by normal dragon means, he's got magic. He could like levitate or something, probably. Noodle Dragon Ryu, yes. Yes! Absolutely. If we have to throw you out the window. Look, the only way I'm going to take off is if you chuck me off a tall building. That is how I take off. And then the following starts when people gather around me, like creating a crater in the pavement. But it's okay. It's like in Looney Tunes, I've created an Alistair-shaped like crater in the pavement, and you just see like an arm just like slowly raise up with like a little thumbs up, like, I'm okay. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's find out what this loot is. I like loot. I want to see the loot. What's the loot? Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you. to uncover the secret hiding place in just one day.
Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes?
As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson? So angry. Angry munch. Grexy's been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Oh, Iris. Oh, Iris. You're so adorable, but so naive. How can you have, like, a doctorate, but be this naive? She is still a child, I guess. Makes sense. Happily, I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's haul. You had to tell your friend who is a dentist now what... Oh. I see. I'm sure that was a very fun Oh. That's a hell of a response. That's a great story. I love that story. I'm trying to think. Oh, I know there was a time where I didn't understand the meaning of a word and I fucked things up considerably. Oh, I remember. Okay. When I was a kid, there was a word that I thought meant a good thing when it didn't mean a good thing at all. So, my parents watched a lot of Seinfeld. My dad specifically really liked Seinfeld. So, you know, we watched a lot of Seinfeld. And I watched Seinfeld. And I thought it was funny. And honestly, I think if I went back today, I'd appreciate it a lot more, you know? But I think as a kid, I may have just been laughing along with my parents laughing. Or the laugh track, right? So there was a word that I learned from Seinfeld that, smack spilled out on a table. I'm out. Yeah, I get that one now. I understand that now. Also, fucking George becoming a genius when he didn't have sex. That was great. I appreciate a lot more of that now. Actually, Seinfeld is on Netflix. I should, like, binge that at some point. I've been looking for like, a good show to binge lately. Like, especially while I play Endwalker. Anyway. I think it was the one where Kramer and Newman are trying to do the recycling scheme where they're trying to make money off recyclables. And they figure out, oh, these cans are worth 5 cents in New York, but if we take them to this other state, they'll be worth 10 cents. But we got to figure out how we transport this many, like, cans and bottles over the state line. How are we going to move them all? And Newman realized, oh, we can use the mail truck. And Kramer's like, Newman, you magnificent bastard, you've done it! So that was my first time hearing the word bastard. So I'm like, oh, magnificent bastard. I'm learning context clues in English, and I can use the context from that sentence to infer that bastard means a good thing. It means a clever person. Bastard means clever person. Thankfully, the first time I put my new vocabulary into practice, I was at home. I think I was playing, like, a game with my father, like a board game, and my dad, like, thought of, like, a clever way of winning, and I was like, oh, you magnificent bastard! And my mom and dad just look at me. Just like, what did you just say? I'm like, what? What'd I do? And they had to explain to me, no, bastard is a bad word. You can't say the word bastard. But I learned it from Seinfeld, and Kramer called Newman a magnificent bastard. I thought it was a good thing. And I had to explain to me, oh, well, no, sometimes adults use bad words in, a friendly way, but it's still a bad word and you can't use it. Oh, good night, Minx. Take care. Good night. So yeah, just tiny Alistair sitting there very proud. Bastard! So that was the day I learned that bastard is not a good word. It's a bad word. It's a word that means a bad thing. I had no idea. Anyway, let's examine the burglar's hall. I've been putting off looking at the loot for so long. Show me the loot. What is that? It appears to be some sort of neckband or collar. That, I feel like I've seen that. I know I've seen that symbol before. Where the fuck have I seen that symbol? I know I've seen it before. Where was that? That was definitely on, like, some piece of evidence at some point. Or, like, a building or something. It's bloodstained, too. Jesus. It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar. Collar for Alistair. No! No collars. We're not putting a collar on me. God damn it. Think of the other day when one of our friends forgot what scissoring was? Oh, no. A collar. It's huge, though. Look at all the gemstones in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth 1,000 pounds. Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed the inside there? There's some dark stains. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. And of course, there's this emblem here. Large letter B and a small crown. Where have we seen that? What does it signify, you think? Oh, I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen this emblem somewhere before. You know, where could it have been? That's enough of that, I think. What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color's drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence, after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key. Yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over, now! Ah, yes. Alistair Barsen. Okay. Have a good night, Mabel. You take care. And I will enjoy Endwalker. I'll enjoy it very much. Never seen a collar that large before. All those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. It's not what stood out most to me. At least, not once I'd noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains. Could they really have been blood? Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder if I could use it. I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. This case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. You're talking about the latest installment of The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, I presume. The Mystery of the Knife in the Mist, and The Mustached Man and the Convict's Curse, perhaps. I could make it a two-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word, please, Iris. Yes, what is it, Hurley? I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your two titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Yes. Could it be B for Baskerville?
And so it was that the second of Souseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Oh, we got voice lines? Okay.
Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen. For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again, with an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Crystal Tower. Yeah, that's Ryunosuke's voice. Oh, what a way to end. Ooh. The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Ooh. This is gonna be interesting. Unfortunately, it'll be probably 2 weeks before we get into that. Because, you know, Endwalker. I'm going to be fully booked on that. And just generally taking a bit of a break from streaming. Because, you know, with the exception of like 1 week before my debut, I have been streaming multiple days every week since October of 2020. So I'm going to take a little bit of a vacation from streaming. You know, just take a little time to myself. And I've got off of work that whole week, so it's going to be a really, really nice, relaxing time off. I'm very much looking forward to it. In that time, you know, I might do some work on some personal stuff. I might make a couple highlight videos. You know, once I finish with Endwalker's main story, I might see about finishing one of those scripts I've been writing and like trying to record the voice lines at least. Maybe finding I do have a friend who edits stuff. I might ask him for help, or I might find someone with more like, I don't know, flashy editing skills. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, thank you all again so much for joining me. I'm very much looking forward to continuing this, and I'm very much looking forward to a game that I have planned for when we come back. And I have a plan for the holidays now, which I'm also very excited about. And I'm already starting to plot and scheme for that. Do your own debut and steal my following? You can't steal from a thief. That's illegal. You can't do that. All right, so who is up and about? Who is doing stuff? Let's see. We got a number of people up and doing stuff. But whomst I ask, do I throw you to? I think tonight, perhaps, we send you to... All right. Well, wait, how deep is she right now? How far in is she? I don't think she's finished yet. Hopefully. 43 minutes. What the fuck? Wait. She started hours ago, didn't she? Wait a minute. Hang on. What's going on? Did stream die? Oh, stream must have died. Oh, well. So, okay, that's why it's broken into two. Anyway, whatever. Get yourself on Speak of the Devil. What's Speak of the Devil? Raid Iron Mouse. Maybe. I don't know. I like rating like other smaller creators. You know, I like to spread people around to like see some cool stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna throw you to Eros here. My new friend, who is very cool. Eros is very, very cool. Very loud too. So you know, you'll be in good hands. Very similar hands to mine. Our vibes are like resonant frequencies, basically. You'll have a good time. Oh, right. Thank you, Zeal, for the reminder. So there's Rogue Raid. Yes. So yeah, vacation starts tomorrow. Unless, you know, vacation starts absolutely for sure on Thursday. if I like have a lot of energy and I really feel like it, I might stream tomorrow or Wednesday. Maybe it'll be a surprise and it'll be something kind of inconsequential. It won't be a new game. It might be like it'd be like Genshin or like Final Fantasy as I like prep myself for Endwalker. But in any case, y'all have a good night and keep an eye on the Discord, by the way. For anyone new, I'm gonna pop this here. Keep an eye on the Discord. We might do a movie night. That'd be fun. Anyway, take care, y'all, and I'll see you next time. Peace.